All right, hey everybody. It's been a while since we have reached out to you and given an update. I feel like you're taller than me. I'm
I
sitting
am.
in a stool and she's in a big chair. We want to just give you an update on what's been happening with us, where we are, about the ministry, all that kind of good stuff. We'll try to keep this one a little bit shorter than the sitcoms that we have recorded in the past. But we have been living in Laura's parents' basement, and that's an adventure, and it's been great. We love them to death, but
Grateful for the
yeah,
place.
but it's just different, if you live on your own and you come back and living with parents again after almost 18 years of marriage, and so that's been an adjustment for us. Being back in the United States now has been an adjustment, but not as bad as I guess I thought it would be. It's, you get back into the swing of things in life and that kind of thing. So it's been good so far. We've really enjoyed it. We have been applying for some different ministry positions in the area. We would like to stay in East Tennessee to stay close to family, but obviously we traveled to Nicaragua, so traveling outside of East Tennessee probably wouldn't be as far to travel. So we're open to anything, but that's always a process. It takes time. So in the meanwhile, I am doing some construction stuff and have a background in that for ministry life and preaching and all that kind of stuff. And so, hey, here's just a shameless quip. If you've got a project or something that you need done at your house, I'm your man. I'll come build it for you, build you a tile shower, lay your floors, change your deck, whatever.
This is not a promotional video.
No, but I'm making it one. So just put that in your ear if you need anything. In the meanwhile, I've heard that people won't come work anymore. Well, this happened while we're gone. I don't know what happened to you all in the 5 years that we were gone, but people won't work anymore, I've heard. So I don't know. So that's going well, and we're able to provide for our family. Ultimately, that's not my calling or my goal, but in the meanwhile, it's serving its purpose.
Before we went to Nicaragua, I was an occupational therapist, and so I've taken 2 as needed jobs, and both of those started last week. So last week was crazy. I was very tired at the end of the week. My brain was kind of on overload, back to all the medical terms and using computers and everything that's changed since COVID. So I'm very thankful for those as needed type of jobs and able to help our family. I turned 40 while we were here, so just a little bit older here in the U.S. now, and so that's going well. Ethan is what I say, he's living his best life. He has been to a basketball camp. He went on a youth camp. He has gotten into yard selling. He can spot any neon sign and you must pull off. And he has his own money that he's been saving in the 5 years and never really got to spend in Nicaragua. And he's buying good deals, and then he's reselling those items at Drew's mother's antique booth to make money. He has also gotten into vacuuming cars for money. He's wanting to learn how to mow yards for money. So he's developing a little bit of an entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
so
the other day he brought home a pair of women's pants that he got for free. He thought he got such a good deal, and that maybe I could wear them. And so
size 14
yeah,
for Drew.
I don't know much about that, but they're women's leggings, which I'm definitely not going to wear. And so I guess that's what you get when you go to yard sales. You get a bunch of junk, and he's accumulating some stuff, but I guess he's having fun. So we're doing well personally, and getting established. We've got vehicles, that kind of thing, and just really waiting to see what the Lord does for us and where He opens the door for us to serve. Before we look at buying houses, all that kind of stuff. So along with that, a prayer request is our ministry house that we personally own in Nicaragua, that all of our missionaries use, that we lived in while we were there, is still for sale. That's a process of selling a house in a third world country, and it's kind of daunting just to think about all of our life savings is in a third world country at this point, and in the hands of other people of buying that. And so I just pray for us that thing would sell very, very quickly, and just to get our investment back out of that. So whenever we settle on something here, it's time for us to buy a house, get settled in that community, and begin serving there. And so we just want to say thank you for people who've stopped and asked about us and asked how we're doing, and I had a lot of questions for us and that kind of thing. And we're going to take a little break here, go to another video, and just talk about specifically ministry stuff there. And so thank you guys for all the encouragement and support that you've given to us since we've been back, praying for us, thinking about us, buying them. Yeah, being patient with us. I know we're probably the weirdos who have missed 5 years and asking a lot of questions and forgetting how to do stuff and learning new how to do things. And so it's been awesome. We'll talk about ministry now. Okay, being back now, just some funny things that happened. We were in church, and as we walked in, they handed a paper bulletin, and Ethan was really confused about what it was, and he's never seen one. We didn't have those in Nicaragua, and they've been in Spanish anyways, but so he had a paper bulletin and was like, what is a call to worship? What does that mean? And so we went to church every Sunday. They were involved, and multiple times a week. They just didn't have bulletins, and they didn't do that kind of thing there. And so that's been funny.
Just
and
the
then
little things.
Yeah, and the other day at Chick-fil-A, he tried to order something in Spanish. So I don't know. We're all confused. We're trying to figure all this out. So, but ministry. I just want to say to those of you who supported us for all the years we were there, thank you for that, providing for our needs, providing for the needs of the people, providing for ministry expenses and so many different things. And from the bottom of our heart, we're thankful for that. We know I can confidently say that I feel we were good stewards of that while we were there. For those of you who have continued to give, every single dollar of that money is still going to ministry in Nicaragua.
Yes.
Some of you still asking, well, do we need to still give? Are you still doing ministry? Yes, our ministry is still working. Our staff is still working. They're still doing incredible things in the country there. We have a busy season coming up of short-term mission teams who are coming down to serve with us. Next will be going down in July to help out with those teams. This fall, looks like we're going to have a very busy season, maybe 3 or 4 teams coming down this fall to serve with us. And so our ministry, Straight Street, is continuing on. Our 8 full-time staff are still working there, still doing things, and every dollar that you still continue to send to this ministry is going to ministry in Nicaragua to serve people for feeding programs, for conferences, for Pastor Seminary. It's I'm very proud of our seminary and our professors who have stepped in and have taken my place. It's hard to leave something when you've started something, you've birthed something, and you leave it behind. But they're doing a great job at continuing on. They're graduating in December, and everything is going great with that.
I still have some of my English students messaging me on, teacher, can you, I've started a new English class, but I don't understand. Can you send me a voice audio of how you say something? So it's good to know that those they're still eager to better themselves and help their family and learn. So I'm glad that we have ways to communicate, and I can still help them in my spare time. So that's nice.
It's amazing how so many of your students have gone and got jobs using their English, and they are making a considerable amount of money compared to what they would normally make if it wasn't because of English. Or some of them have come to the U.S. now and are thriving here in the U.S. because of the classes they went through and the English that they learned, and now they're doing some incredible things. So it's pretty awesome.
It's amazing how God uses the gifts that He gives you no matter where you are. Just being in Nicaragua and picking up the Spanish language, even though mine is not as good as Drew's. I had a patient in one of my jobs, and she was only Spanish speaking. She understood no English, and they had been using an interpretation phone line to do her therapy. And I was able just to communicate with her. Not all the medical words, I didn't know all the medical words, but I knew how to make a conversation with her and how to ask about her family. And all the other therapists just said how much her demeanor had changed and how she felt. They could just see a smile on her face. So don't get discouraged. You know, if you change jobs or if God moves you somewhere else, He's going to use the gifts and talents that He gives you, no matter where to use you, where He takes you. So that was a neat experience for me to be able to use that for her.
In the meanwhile, I'm still working with the ministry as much as I can, and daily we're communicating with them, answering questions, giving them guidance. Our staff is doing a great job. If you've been there before, you know Angel, Blanca, Carlos, Magali, Jasmina, our 3 construction guys. Some of you have worked with them in the past. They're still working hard and doing great things. And God's still doing some incredible things there. And I think we're going to see a different spin to our ministry, a new growth to it that is based upon locals carrying out this ministry. Taking our vision, taking what we started and continuing to carry that on in so many different ways. And so for those of you who have supported us, thank you. And the time we were there, for those of you still continuing to give to this ministry, we say thank you for that. Lives are still being changed. And hopefully you saw their pictures of ministry that has been happening. And you don't see our faces there. It's our local staff. And this summer we're going to have a lot of missionaries who are coming in, and my prayer is that God changes their hearts there. We were one of those. I was 21 years old, my first international mission trip, and God gripped my heart. And it was a journey to get there, and God used that one trip to bring about what happened in the 5 years. I was a missions pastor before, so many mission trips and taking mission teams to different places, how we saw God do so many. Was my English correct there? I don't know. I've forgotten. I'm still learning. I'm coming back and learning English now.
You saw God do great things.
Yes.
I think that's what you're going to say.
Thank you. In the lives of missionaries, and so we pray for that. The maybe 50 or so that we're going to have coming down this summer, and then later on this fall, maybe 4 other teams. And so God's still up to doing some great things through Nicaragua. We're still involved in that, and as much as we can be. And God's going to continue to move. And so thank you for supporting this ministry. If you have any questions about that, about what's happening there, what's happening with us, reach out to us, how your money's being used, or want specific stories or photos or testimonies. We'd love to share those with you about how God is working in this incredible country that desperately needs a touch of God, needs a movement of His in so many different people's lives in so many different ways. And so thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
We love you guys, and just like Drew said, thank you. Just continue to pray for our family as we try day by day just to get settled in, and the prayer request he mentioned earlier, and just continue to pray for our staff as they work hard to continue this ministry and prepare for the summer and teams and conferences that they're doing. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. And we couldn't do what we do, or we couldn't have done what we did the 5 years without you, and our staff can't continue to do what they're doing without you. So we love you guys.
See you. Have a great day.